everybody. Welcome to Matchday Live. I'm Chris Latchem and I'm joined in studio by Tash Harding, former Manchester City player. Thank you for being with us, Tash. We've got a jam-packed show and we're coming from Australia because Manchester City's women are down there on their pre-season tour and it's their first big match of a bumper tour down there. Playing against Leicester City with a potential final to come against West Ham or Paris Saint-Germain on Sunday. But before we get into the nuts and bolts of that, let's focus on the tour and the team and hear from the manager, Gareth Taylor.
You've been here for almost a week now, training-wise. How have those sessions been so far?
Been good. I think that, we were able to run things as we would do if we were back at the CFA. So I think that's great in that respect. It's just the environment has just been moved and put in another country. So for us, it's great. It allows us time to collaborate together as a team, as staff, to really focus on our aims for the season, and the journey starts here.
As you say, quite a few fresh faces this summer. How have those guys bedded in over this week or so?
Yeah, it's been great. Of course, we've managed to bring in Chad Gribble as a coach, who's been great in the respect of, he really understands what we're trying to do. He really appreciates the football we try and play. We've had numerous conversations, but again, obviously he's really new to it. Like some of the other players, the first time we kind of meet is at the airport, but he's shown really good positive signs by getting straight into things and working to the processes and adding value as well. And of course, with the players, particularly the players who are in the Olympics, we've managed to catch up with them. And with Laya arriving last night, who was probably the one who went furthest in the Olympics, it now gives us everybody all together as one, which is great for a coach to have.
You say all together as one. A few players have stayed in Manchester. Is that a fitness-based thing?
Yeah, well, it's just more so that those players have got like niggles. Obviously Sandy's long-term injury, Jill's coming back from a long-term injury, Tara Hanlon, and obviously Laura Coombs just missed out with a slight niggle. So it's really difficult when you're coming this far to take players. Whereas probably like the rehab stuff that they do back in Manchester is probably as important to get them ready for when we get back. So it was really touch and go with Jill whether she was going to be close enough to be able to partake in team training, and once we made that decision that it was going to be tight, I think what it allows us to do is when we do return that she will be there or thereabouts and really close in our training sessions, which is going to help us because again, it's another top player.
And team news this week of the players who are here, everyone available to play, get minutes?
Pretty much. I think it's a case of getting through these two games and trying to get the necessary minutes into the players, and that will look different for player by player, but it's about coming into that or out of it the other end, I should say, and everybody coming through feeling fit, healthy, and having the adequate minutes that they desire. Unfortunately, we only have the two games. We have 23 players with goalkeepers included, so of course trying to manage that can be quite challenging, but I think it's a really good environment for us to be in, and two good games for us to have to start off the pre-season.
Gareth, thank you. Good luck this week.
Cheers, thank you.
So good to hear from the head coach, the boss, Gareth Taylor, after a few weeks off, a few months off perhaps even for him. Some of the players have been away at the Olympics, but he's looking pretty relaxed, comfortable heading into a new season on a nice pre-season tour in Australia.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him not laid back, if I'm honest. And he went, unfortunately, they lost to Arsenal in the dying minutes. I think it's the only time. But
well, that'll test you.
Yeah, exactly.
Late defeat.
Yeah, but I think, he always looks pretty relaxed. He always looks like he's planned a lot of things, looks prepared most of the time, if not all the time. And I think it's a really good opportunity for him to see the new girls, the youngsters that's coming in, and just a good experience for the girls, I think, in general.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Loads to unpack from that interview as well, though. He mentioned Jill Roord, and they had hope maybe she might have made it onto the trip. She didn't quite make it, but the signs are positive after that horror injury that she had, that she'll be ready for the new season. Yeah,
I really like Jill. I think she's really, really good. A very technical player, very underrated as well, I think. But fortunately, I just popped out of the studio and she was doing some prep and some training. She looked really sharp, looked really good. And yeah, I think she'll be fantastic, especially with the link up with Viv.
Yeah, Vivian Miedemar, one of the new players coming in, signed from Arsenal in the summer. Alana Kennedy and Mary Fowler will be really enjoying this tour because they're both from Oz. They're able to show their teammates around Australia here. We could see them in training just behind us here. What a nice thing for them to experience as a team member of a club from England, but taking all their teammates back to their home country.
Yeah, they probably wish they could do it more often, I think. Not sure that's in the budget, though. But yeah, no, it's a great opportunity for the girls. I think hopefully they'll get a good crowd being, from Australia as well. And I know it's a pretty decent big country and they're probably not from that area, but I think it's just always good to go home. It'll be like for them going back with national team and seeing their home again. Wish they probably could show the girls the sunshine rather than the rain that we saw earlier.
Yes, maybe. Both of them were involved in the Olympics.
Yep.
Australia didn't go as far as Laia went with Spain. They went all the way to the bronze medal match at Spain. But that's going to be a bit of an issue for Gareth and the training team, knowing which players need which minutes and how to balance their legs. Yeah,
and I think before the Olympics that everyone came off the back of international breaks as well before the Olympics. So I think it's been a really busy summer for the international girls playing. And I think that's been the concern, I think, with players going into FIFA or UEFA and saying, the fixture schedule is a bit probably too much, which might lead to fatigue and injuries. And Gareth, having his experience, probably that's what he's doing with the girls, giving them a little bit more rest. There's no need to rush the girls. He knows the quality and just allowing them to just ease their way back in.
Yeah, let's have a little look at the team. He mentioned that Laia was the last to arrive, having got to the bronze medal match with Spain at the Olympics. She's on the bench, as you can see down the bottom. But let's run through the team. So Keating's going to go in goal, holding on to the #1 jersey, even though on the bench Yamashita has signed with 6 Japan League titles to her name. So that's going to be a really interesting contest between those two. At the back line, Kasparai is in, Alex Greenwood is in, so there's experience there with Layla Wahhabi playing at fullback as well. But Gracie Pryor, who's only just signed her first professional contract term, she's going straight into the back line. We've got Blinkild Brown and Jess Park in midfield, so you've got an England youth with an England full international, and Eve O'Carroll, one of the academy players, is straight into that first 11. And then in attack, Chloe Kelly, Lauren Hemp, England internationals, along with an under-19 England international in Polly Pritchard. First look at her for us. She scored a hat-trick for England in the under-19 Euros this summer.
Wow. Yeah. Again, I think City have always been really good at bringing through youngsters, whether it be from the academy or signing them really young. You have to look back the years that I played with City was bringing Kira Walsh, Georgia Stanway, Ella Toon. They were all 15, 16. And they understand the project, and I think bringing in the younger talented before anyone else sees them. I think they've always been really good at that. So it's really, really good to see, and I think the girls will enjoy this experience, and we might see the next England international. You never know.
We might well, because if you go through the bench as well, I mean, there's some of the new signings that we mentioned. Yamashita, the goalkeeper, Naomi Lazel signed from Bristol City as a centre-back. Iobi Fujino is also in there, scored a goal from a free kick in the Olympic Games. On the bench, Viv Miedemar is on the bench as well. We really hope to get a good look at her. But a couple of academy players, we saw them coming out of the tunnel. Sasha Lewis is in there, is Rico Lewis's little sister. Really excited to see how that goes. But I tell you what we'll do. We'll focus first things first on one of the first teamers who was so impressive last season, Jess Park, who's been in and around this City first team for years now, it feels like. Made her mark many years ago, but in the derby, scoring those 2 goals against City. She's one of the established players in the team, and she's been speaking to Jack.
Jess, you've been in Australia for almost a week now, been training all that time. How does the body feel?
Yeah, good. Aches and pains here and there, but we're getting through it. But pre-season's always tough, but it's nice to get back running again.
And it's Leicester tomorrow. How much have you missed sort of that competitive element of playing against other sides?
Yeah, massively. I'm really, really excited to get into the game tomorrow with the girls, with my team, and enjoy it.
How important is it that we get a win? Obviously, it's all about minutes in the legs, trying out new tactics, but also getting a win, getting that confidence on the board.
Yeah, I think it's really important. We always go out to win every single game that we play, and I think it's important to start the season how we mean to go on.
It's almost a month still until the start of the WSL season. What are we working on between now and the start of the season to make sure we're ready to go?
I think, just getting back sharp, teaching the new players what we kind of do here, and also, getting the new qualities coming through, and I think just getting everyone confident and ready to go.
You mentioned the new players, quite a few new faces in the group. How have they integrated themselves? What's the mood been like?
Yeah, mood's been really good. I think, you know, they've come in and made an impact already just by their personalities and the way that they are, and I think that's really important.
There's plenty of competition for places as well, certainly in the attacking areas. How do you see yourself sort of fitting into Gareth's team this season?
I mean, I'm hopefully in the midfield, but I can play anywhere, so, you know, we'll see. I'll be ready whenever I'm called upon, and wherever that is, I'll be ready to help the team.
And we're in Australia. How excited are you to sort of see the fans out there tomorrow, see how much the game has grown over here?
Yeah, really excited. You know, I've never experienced it, so it'll be really interesting for me personally too.
Thank you, Jess. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Love the thumbs up at the end of that one. She seems really enjoying her time down in Australia. How much can the youngsters in and around this City team, we talked about the ones that are starting the game and on the bench, look to someone like Jess Park and think, that's where I want to be in 4 or 5 years' time? Yeah,
I think for her coming into City, she was quite young, 15, 16. Again, pretty unknown quantity, no one really knew about her. She went on loan to Everton, and I think she had a really good season, really successful. And I know it sounds really stupid and counterintuitive. For someone who's 5'2", she actually grew in stature. But I don't mean as in, you know, but especially the Derby game last year, I was fortunate enough to be with these guys, and she took the team on her shoulders. She was fantastic, and between her and Bunny Shaw, I thought, you know, she really took the team and responsibility on her shoulders, and it's really good now to see the position that she's in. She's finally found a position that works for her, which is just off the 9. And I really do hope that she continues this season how she finished last season. Yeah, and in that interview as well, she said, I really love playing in the midfield in that position that you mentioned as well, but I'm here for the team. I'm happy to play wherever. That's good to know that you've got players that can fill many roles. Yeah, I think, again, if a player is willing to do any other roles, the trust from the manager is massive, and I think they'll always look to you to try and fill in, and that's huge. It's a massive confidence boost, and for her, she probably could play anyway, to be honest. Yeah. Maybe not centre-half. Maybe not centre-half, bit too small. Now, she wasn't an academy player. She was signed in because she was signed so young and in and around the first team from so young. It almost feels like she was. But in terms of the academy, we look at the starting team, right in the heart of that defence, there's Gracie Pryor is going to be starting as we've got Vivian Miedemar behind her. We'll get to Viv, don't worry about that. But Gracie Pryor only signed her first pro terms here at Manchester City a couple of weeks ago. And there it is, signing it in that famous room, big smile on her face, and in the Joy Stadium. And now she's getting to line up alongside Alex Greenwood in the City defence. Yeah, you don't get much better starts than that, do you? And especially Alex, I've played with Alex, I've known Alex. She will help her throughout the whole game for however long Alex is playing. And she'll gain so much more experience from being thrown in the deep end than she would if she was just training or playing for the academy all the time. Would there be nerves? I mean, it's a pre-season friendly, but there's going to be a lot of fans in the ground. It's a big stadium. Yeah, I think so. And if she didn't have nerves, I'm not sure. She is quite human, I'm not sure. But I think it'll be more excitement, but then she's probably going to have a lot more experienced players around her that's going to be able to calm her down and just explain to her about making the easy passes first, and I'll just ease her into the game. Yeah, so also from the academy, Evo Carroll is going to play in the midfield alongside Jess Park, who we've just heard from, and Laura Blinkhill-Brown, who I know you've played with in the past as well, and then up front, Poppy Pritchard. There's a real chance for someone at Manchester City to stake a claim to be the chief relief behind Bunny Shaw. If Bunny is fit, we know that she's going to start because she scores so many goals, but she can't play every single minute. No, and I think that was probably the main thing with City last year when they lost Bunny. That was where kind of things probably unravelled a little bit too quick. And, you know, Bunny did well to stay fit for most of the season. But you got Vivian Miedemar, she's come in, but I think she'll play more as a midfielder/attacking midfielder. So, yeah, there is definitely a spot for someone to come in and play the games that Bunny Shaw might not play, the Conti Cup, the FA Cup early rounds, things like that will allow Bunny to be able to have a bit more rest. Yeah, just looking back to last season, City did so well. It went down to the last game of the season, and ultimately they finished second on goal difference, the narrowest of margins to not get over the line. What do you think the sort of shape City are in heading into this new season, if we were to talk about who might be the favourites for the title, bearing in mind what we know has happened down at Chelsea this summer? I think last season, as much as it was agonisingly close, I think it'll give them that experience of just staying in a game, managing the game. You know, we did the Arsenal game and all they had to do was not lose. They could have drew the game, they could have seen the game out, but I think that's where maybe experience was lacking a little bit and game management. So they would have definitely learned a lot from that game. And for me, I think they've strengthened, if anything. I'm not sure they've got any weaker. So I'm really excited to see how the girls do this season, and hopefully it'll be a bit closer, maybe get over the line this year.
Wouldn't it be good if Manchester City can get over the line? And you talk about strengthening. They really have strengthened, and in different departments too. And some of the players coming in will add an awful lot. We already talked about the goalkeeping decision that Gareth Taylor's going to have. Chiara Keating's going in goal today, but Yamashita has signed and she brings a wealth of experience. Let's have a little rattle through some of these new signings. So Yamashita is the one who we'll have to wait and see. I think we're going to probably see every player off the bench today because Gareth Taylor has talked about managing the minutes. But you think about the men's team here at City. They've got Edison and they've got Stefan Ortega. And the way that Pep does it is Edison's the league goalkeeper and Ortega gets to do the cups. Do you think we might see a sort of relationship like that?
Yeah, I think so. I think just to start with, just so she gets to know the league, gets to know how they play. But again, you've already said it. She comes with a lot of experience, by the way. So I'm not sure it's going to be as much time as what people think it's going to take her to get used to it. But I think that's what we'll see early on. And that's what you want, competition.
You want competition for every place, they always say. You don't want to be like Chelsea in the men's game where you've got 9 players for every position. But if you can get 2 and 2 good players for every position, it gives you
Chris, we'll take that.
Brilliant options. We will take that. Let's have a rattle through some of the other signings because she's not the only Japanese signing as well. Ioba Fujino has come in as well. Had a really impressive Olympic start of the Olympics with Japan, and she brings a wealth of experience, absolute rapid-fire pace as well, which is very exciting for Manchester City because you've already got pace in that team, and if you add that little bit more, then maybe on those games where teams are sitting in, it's difficult to break down. It just gives you that additional option. Yeah,
she was quite exciting to watch in the World Cup as well. She didn't play all of the games, but you could see really like a lot of glimpses of what she could be with the right environment. And I'm really excited to watch her in the WSL. I think she'll be a massive addition and a great addition to not just only Man City, but also to the league as well. And I think she's very technical. We only have to go off what Hasegawa is like.
Of course.
And I think City have scouted very well over the last few years, and I think she's going to be really exciting to watch.
Yeah, it feels a little holistic as well to me, that the fact that they've signed 3 new Japanese players, City. So, one, they'll have their own community of people that can introduce them to the city rather than coming on your own and going, I feel a bit of an outsider here. So that's really intriguing. But the sad thing is that Riza Shimizu, who signed from West Ham in the summer, has done a really serious injury, and we keep seeing them in the women's game. Yeah,
and again, I think you have to really look at the bigger picture. Does it come down to the fixture congestion, not enough rest? And she's really good. I've played against her a lot of the times, and she's a really good attacking, exciting fullback, and it's really, really sad to see it so early on. And again, this 3-letter word just keeps coming up all the time.
The A, the C, the L. I mean, I've not done that, but I did a serious knee injury a couple of years ago, and I'm in awe of any footballer that can come back from it because I'm not a professional. I don't train at the same level or anything like that, but it's nowhere near the level that it was before it got injured. So always in awe of these players that can come back. We've already mentioned Jill Roord is getting closer. We'll stay on the Dutch theme. We've mentioned her a couple of times. Viv Miedema coming in here. All that she's achieved in the WSL, all the records that she holds on to, the top scorer in the league, the first player to reach 50 goals in the WSL, and all of a sudden, Manchester City have not just brought her in, but brought in a dog as well.
Yeah, it's like a double whammy. One more. I think everyone's more excited to see the dog than Viv, to be honest. But no,
Miley is the dog.
Oh, right, okay.
She was brought in here when the signing reveal was done.
But what a player! Honestly, I've admired her for so many years since she even first came in when she was so young. I think she came in from Bayern Munich, I think. And was just known for scoring so many goals.
Levelled up the league, I think.
Yeah.
The skill that she brought in, everyone looked around and went, oh, OK.
Yeah,
okay,
and she was just frightening to play against. But what a player to be able to watch. And I'm not sure the producers have got the clips, but I said that Man City should go for Miedema if she was to leave Arsenal.
You did call this a year ago. When was this?
Yeah, about just before they played Arsenal or just after Arsenal. So a couple of months ago. And I said they should have gone for her, and someone was obviously
I
listening.
think you were even bolder than that. I think you said, I've got a sneaking suspicion we'll see her at City one day. And here we are. Mystic Tash in the studio with us. So let's round things off. So there was also a signing of a young goalkeeper, Eve Annetts, but let's focus on a centre-back who we may well see tonight. Eve's not on the tour, but Naomi Lazel's come in from Bristol City, who's a centre-back, and I know you'll have seen her across the league in the past. What's she going to add to Manchester City?
Again, I think she'll be someone who's probably for the future. I'm not sure she'll be the one that's going to be right in straight away, but from what I have seen, her attributes, she's quite quick, pretty confident on the ball, and likes to find good penetrative passes into midfield and likes to defend, and that's what you want. And she's really young. And again, City are always good at building through youngsters. And yeah, from what I've seen, I think a really good fit for City.
And experienced, even though she's a relatively tender age, 77 appearances for Bristol City, in at this level. So she'll know the league, she'll know the opponents that she'll be coming up against. Seems like a shrewd signing to me, that one. But let's focus on one player who isn't a new signing, but missed the end of last season with an injury. So might feel a bit like a new signing, and she's celebrating a hat-trick of awards. It is, of course, Bunny Shaw, who banged the goals in last season. Absolutely unbelievable season. The top goal scorer in the WSL. There she is with one of her 3 trophies. She was named the PFA Player of the Year and the WSL Player of the Year. And will feel...
Writers.
And the football writers, the hat-trick of awards. And she'll feel as well like her season was cut short last year. So maybe more points to prove for Bunny.
Yeah, I think she only ended up missing 3 games, I think, towards the end of the season. But within that season, I, again, massive admirer of her. Works hard, a threat constantly, whether that's outside the box, inside the box. She's just got an all-round to her game, really. And the scary thing is, we did an interview with her and she said to myself and Sean, she still wants to improve. I think that's quite scary to hear.
Can she take it to the next level?
I think there's always room for improvement, but I think if other teams around the league was to hear that, I think that's pretty unnerving. To know that she can still improve with the season that she's just had. And all the awards and accolades that she's got this year are massively deserved. I think she was head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, she's like Erling Haaland in the men's game. She averages almost a goal a game at WSL level. She can score all types of goals from range, from close in, headers, volleys. She's got the lot. And if you think she can get better, that's just frightening. Yeah,
I think City have done well to keep hold of her. If I'm honest, I think there should be teams around the world after her. I think she's incredible, and I think she just gives City that extra edge, that almost that scare factor to other teams. I think when teams maybe don't play against her, I think it might give them a little bit more confidence to play. But for me, she's City's best player by far, close to Hasegawa, I think.
OK. And there we see Kiera in goal. Viv showing off her skills already. Everyone looks like they're really happy and comfortable and enjoying life down under, and why wouldn't you be, right? What a great opportunity for these players to just go and get the minutes into their legs. It's not raining like it is outside this studio here in Manchester, although it has been raining down in Australia. Just great to be away with the team. And as Gareth mentioned in the interview that we showed right at the top, his assistant Chad came in, Chad Gribble, and some of the players have come in directly from the Olympics. So some of them are meeting for the first time at the airport, which one must be quite strange, but two, they get, 2 weeks away to actually properly get to know each other, rather than come to training, go home, come to training, go home.
Yeah, I just think sometimes taking the team out of the normal environment, I think is building relationships a little bit quicker. And I think, I mean, to get the opportunity to go to Australia, I think that doesn't come around often. And it'll just be good for the girls to just be together, doing things, going to see different things, and also being in a country where women's football is really on the rise, to then be part of that as well. I think for me it was a really good opportunity and done really well by City.
Yeah, Kirsten Kasperai has said that it's really great to be in a country and seeing how much they've welcomed it. Had the World Cup there last year, of course. Yeah. They've embraced it, they love it. Kirsten's really enjoying it. I think it's time we have a quick look at the Leicester City team. Now, we're not going to rattle through this as in-depth as we did the Manchester City team, but there are a couple of names that jump off the team sheet there for me. Just down the bottom, the two, it's Ruby Mace, who used to earn a coin here at Manchester City, but she's moved on, and now we'll get to see her playing in a different shade of blue today. What do you think about Ruby moving on and being able to have the chance to continue her career in the WSL?
Yeah, I think she always had a bright future. I think she's never going to lose sight of that, or other people know she's not going to not lose sight of that. But I think for me, she had a few niggles here and there, couldn't really get consistency with games. And, you know, when she did play, unfortunately, she made probably too many errors that maybe led to mistakes. But I think for me, going to Leicester was a great opportunity for her. It's a young team, up-and-coming team. It's got a good structure around the club, and I think she'll do really well there.
Another name just down the bottom, just below Ruby Mace, is Chantel Swaby, who's a Jamaica international centre-back. So she's going to come in and add a real wealth of experience, international experience, to a back line that, let's be honest, down in the bottom half of the table, got beaten a good few times last season.
Yeah, and I think that's where Leicester's probably needed to strengthen over the last 2 or 3 years. So to bring someone in with that amount of experience going to the World Cup as well last year, I think will give Leicester that little bit more experience that they were probably lacking over the last couple of seasons. And I mean, if you can keep a strong back line and a strong defence, I think you stand half a chance to stay up, and that'll probably be their target this year.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be, doesn't it? If we think about their performance last season, they started brilliantly, back-to-back wins at the start of the season. You think, oh, wow, maybe there's going to be a new contender at the top of the league. But ultimately, I suppose the equilibrium of the league caught them up. They only got 2 more wins for the rest of the season and finished 10th. So you think this season, ultimately, it's that or better for them? That's got to be the aim?
Yeah, and I think, again, for them, that's what they will want to be trying to do, is trying to almost compete in that second bit of the table, but a little bit higher. But you never know going into a new season. They're still quite a relatively young team.
How hard is it for young teams, young clubs? They were playing in the Championship, they were playing lower than the Championship within the last 4 or 5 years. How hard is it for teams to make inroads, incremental gains within the WSL? Because the teams at the top are so strong.
Yeah, it's how you sell your club, really, I think. I think Leicester need more experience. I think they've got too many younger players at the minute, and I think it's about getting that balance right. And I think that's what the likes of Chelsea, City, Arsenal, that's what they do really well, is having that balance between experience and older players, but also bringing in through the talented youngsters at the same time. And I think Leicester's probably allowed the youngsters and the younger talent to run away with them too much. So for me, I think they need to invest in a little bit more experience, and I think the last 2 or 3 years now should have put them in good stead and potentially build on that now this season. Yeah,
this tournament is, I think, interesting for Leicester to start the season, because we know they're playing Manchester City today, and if they lose, they'll play the loser of West Ham or Paris Saint-Germain in the 3rd and 4th final, or if whoever wins this match today will go on and play the winner of that. So Leicester will be guaranteed to play 2 very decent clubs, one very, very decent in Manchester City, potentially West Ham, or a club on the rise, or PSG. That's good for their development as well.
Yeah, and I think going against West Ham will be really good in terms of preparing them for the league, because they were fighting with West Ham at the back end of last season to finish a little bit higher than each other. And I think West Ham really struggled. So to put them up against each other, they'll be able to tell early on where they need to improve and really go against the team that's in and around them. And then PSG, I mean, being able to play against PSG, when do you ever do that?
Yeah, well, I know the new Leicester boss will be very keen to play against PSG because she just had 7 seasons in the top flight with Stade de Reims. Amandine Miquel is the new boss. We can see there is the new boss of Leicester City. Did well with that club, got them promoted to the top flight, which Leicester have experienced themselves in recent years, but then managed to stabilise them and got them up to 4th last season in a similar league, a league that has elite at the very top level, like the WSL, and then slightly lower class in the middle.
Yeah, I think she'll bring, again, I talk about experience quite a lot, because I think in the WSL, experience wins you games, and I think that's what Leicester's probably lacked. They had a really young manager in Lydia before, and then Willie Kirk was quite young as well in experience. So to bring someone in who's been through it already and in a different league in a different country, it bodes well. She
also has knowledge of English football, Amandine Miquel. She came through the Chelsea Academy. So, I mean, this is obviously a while ago. She's now in her 40s, and we're talking academy, you're talking players in their teenage years. What do you think she'll have gleaned from England and English football that will help her moving forward as a manager in this country?
I think she probably has already been in conversation with Sonia Bombasta, the Chelsea manager. So I think they probably know each other quite well, haven't played against each other or played against as players as well. So I think she would have had already conversations with them in regards to, you know, what are they expecting, maybe sharing the same concerns that they may have. But, I mean, she probably knows the English game if she's been at Chelsea, I think. it's pretty full gung-ho, isn't it? So I think she's going to expect a lot of uncertainty, because I don't think you can guarantee 3 points to anyone these days. I think it's pretty competitive. So I think she'll be excited, but also probably unnerved with not knowing what to do.
Yeah. We should very quickly mention they've got a couple of other new signings. Belgium international defender Sari Keys, so she'll go alongside Chantel Swaby throughout the season. That will strengthen them in defence, the area that you said they probably needed to focus on the most. And another one in the French youth international striker, Naomi Mouton, among their attacking ranks. So they're strengthening at both ends of the field. It'll be really interesting to see, what they can offer when they finally all gel together.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're trying to do, is build on the squads that they already had, but then bringing in newer faces with probably more experience, and then trying to blend all those together. And that's what pre-season tours are all about. And that's what, it'll be the same for City. It's what teams, that's why they go away, just to try and figure out what works well, how the dynamics work together, what's it like playing together, the new system. So these are really good opportunities for the girls to find out how they're going to be playing with each other.
Yeah, Mouton, we just saw the striker there. She will be known by the manager, Amandine Mikel, so she would have had a real hand in that signing as well. It'll be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to today, more importantly, to see how Manchester City all bed in with those academy players, in with the established stars. And then as we work into the second half, we'll get to see the elite, the new signings coming in. There's a little flavour of the atmosphere. I never know how people get to wave those flags. Those enormous flags. You need strong rotator cuff and shoulder muscles to get them going, but they're all out waving their flags. That's good to see, right? The next generation, the Australian Manchester supporters.
Yeah, I think that woman was lucky she went at Leeds Festival, I think, over the weekend.
She would have gone,
yeah, she would have been like someone's tent, I think. But no, it's really good, especially for the younger generation, to see these types of players on show that they don't get to see more often. I think it's a really good opportunity for both fans and players to be involved.
Yeah, they do look like they're enjoying it. Arms around the shoulder, off they go, right down to the tunnel, final team talks, and we'll see them as we build up towards the game. Now, Tash, you retired less than a year ago, so you've just gone through your first full summer where you can go, don't need to worry about pre-season, don't have to worry about anything.
Nice. It's nice.
Have you enjoyed your first summer off?
Yeah, it's been lovely. Really, really nice. I got married.
Got married?
Yeah.
Just 2 weeks ago, and look at this.
Thankfully, she said yes. That's all my cousins and partners and my little.
They look like they're having
niece.
a great time.
Yeah, no, they're enjoying it.
So 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Have we cut short your honeymoon?
No, this is part of it. This takes priority. So if the wedding was on this day, we would have come here first.
Oh, that's magic. Look at that.
So, yeah, got married, had a really nice break. And back to it now. Missed football, so I missed you guys, so I've come back.
Ah, we missed you too. But you got the sunshine by the look of it on the happy day.
Do you know what? For the first time and only time probably, that was very hot and sunny in Wales, so it was really nice and
Very
enjoyable.
hot and sunny in Wales, and then down to Cornwall for the honeymoon, the part of the honeymoon that didn't feature us here.
No, unfortunately, I don't think we'd all fit in the tent. So it was myself, my wife and our dog in a tent pretty small, so I'm not sure I would have got all you guys in at the same time.
No.
Although we would have tried.
OK, well, next time we'll do it, and we'll do it for a feature on City Plus, and you should subscribe for those sorts of features that we send out. And if you're a member at Manchester City, you get it for just 30 quid a year. 30 quid a year, you can't say better than that. So much great content, documentaries, pictures from Tash's wedding and her honeymoon, and all of us in a tent. I don't think we've...
What more do you want?
What more do you want, City fans? OK, I'll tell you what you want. You want a VT on life in the academy. And Karen Bardsley is not only a club legend, she's also the manager of the academy. And she's taken us for a little tour. You'll enjoy this.
Hi there, my name's Karen Bardsley. I'm the Academy Manager here at Manchester City Women, and welcome to the Academy. So here's the main reception where you'll be greeted by a lovely smile every day. Now through here, when the rain and the weather and the winter hit, you can relax in the parents' lounge while your girls are out on pitch training. There's teas and coffees. You've got your space to do your own work. You can make yourself comfortable. You need to have something to keep you occupied as well. So sometimes we'll try to offer maybe some education opportunities, some workshops for the parents, but just an opportunity to have some space to call your own. When CFA was born, Tony Duggan, Steph Horton and myself were part of the women's first team that were initially formed in 2014. So in the gym, obviously, the girls will be doing testing, They'll be doing basic Olympic lifts, anything that essentially will help their performance on the pitch. Here's the women's first team lounge. Sometimes we'll do some classroom sessions with the girls or some educational workshops with the girls, and they'll take place in there. So here's our new state-of-the-art canteen. It is gleaming, by the way. So the girls can come in here. They'll predominantly get either a pre-match or a post-match meal. They'll get their post-training food as well. There's a little grab-and-go station there where you can come in, go get your fruit, get a drink, and then go to your classroom sessions or go down on pitch. But it's a really great setup. This is the auditorium. So sometimes we'll have classroom sessions in here. We'll have parent meetings in here on occasion. That's where the women's first team and the girls and boys academies do their pre-match briefings sometimes. This is a historic room for me, one of the first places I saw when I first came to the academy. This classroom will be where the girls come before a training session. We'll get around the table. The coaches will give them some tasks to do that relate back to the session that they're going to have on the pitch. You know, around our game style, our methodology, the outcomes, what they want. What the coaches want the girls to be focusing on. So follow me down to pitch number 10, where the Girls Academy will predominantly be spending most of their time. As you can see, goalkeeping space there, Joy Stadium over there, Etihad across the way, we've got Co-op Live. This has been a tour of the Women's Academy. Thank you so much for joining me, and we hope to see you soon.
Wow. It's absolutely incredible, isn't it? What's on offer for the talented young girls that come through the academy here at Manchester City. Paves the way for a life in the professional game if you're used to those surroundings.
Yeah, very lucky. I think even when I think the girls that are professionals will call themselves lucky to have access to these buildings, these change rooms, the facilities, the pitches. I think, yeah, you can call yourself very lucky.
Yeah, I know you're around the club often and you do a lot of work for us here. But you left the club a good few years ago now. How much has it advanced in the time that you've moved on?
That was exactly this. Those change rooms.
Oh, don't say that. You say, no, they're always working.
No, but that just shows how advanced City were and are.
Okay.
And obviously, they're always just years ahead of everyone else. The fact that that is what I had in 2015 to 17. The fact that they're still here now and it still looks modern is still amazing.
When the league was in its relative infancy, right? When did it go?
It was 2010.
Push to pro?
But 2010 it launched in terms of the league, but I don't think it got professional until post-Olympics.
Yeah, I think it was 2014. I was commentating on it from BBC years and years ago. I think it was 14. So very early in its inception, City launched all of those.
But I think City were just years ahead of everyone else. So that just shows how far, and they're always steps ahead of any other club.
Yeah.
And we all know that, but it's whether the outside know that.
And, you know, I mean, we just saw the flash up of the team sheet there. 2 players that have come through that academy, including Gracie Pryor, Evo Carroll, get the chance to line up alongside the players that train on the other pitch, the first team pitch today. So it shows you the pathway in full flight.
Yeah, and that's what City make sure they implement things that makes the other girls aspire to want to be there. And I think that's what the whole project's always about, is showing the girls that are from the academy, from even younger ages, to what they could be. But it's putting that on show. Yeah.
And Gracie Pryor is a real success story. I mean, we talked about the fact she only just recently signed her first pro terms, made a City debut October 2022 against Blackburn Rovers in a cup game. So again, that's the pathway. Come through the academy. We've got the cup opportunities for you to play. If you continue developing, the bigger opportunities will follow. There's your pro contract, and now you're alongside the pros.
But again, we have to go back to her. She's taken her opportunity really well with both hands.
Yes.
And if, you know, that opportunity might get given to loads of other people, but it's whether you take that opportunity, and she's obviously done that and done really well. One
thing I want to just ask you about, because I don't know too much about it. She had a dual registration, went to Burnley and got key minutes playing for Burnley. How does that work? And clearly it's a very beneficial thing to a young professional. Yeah, I think in the women's game, obviously you can't do that with 2 professional clubs, but I think if you can do it in lower tiers, I think Burnley are in tier 3 or 4 of the women's pyramid, but I think
if you're an academy player, it allows you to be able to stay with an academy to then play as a grassroots club. So that's what a dual signing normally looks like. If you're linked to an academy, then you can link to a grassroots team.
It's good. It's good because I didn't know that, and you've painted a picture, and it's obviously working for many players.
Yeah.
Gracie Price straight into the starting team. Now we've got a game for you, and you didn't know this because we didn't pre-warn you, did you?
No.
But you know we're down under on City's tour of Australia, so we want to test how much you know Australian colloquialisms, or, to label it better, Dingo lingo, mate.
Yeah, I've been to Bingo Lingo, but...
OK, well, this is a bit different. How do you know your Dingo lingo? This is Australian slang. Some of it is, some of it isn't. We need to know, one, is it Australian slang? And two, do you know what it is? And we're going to start with dunny. You know what a dunny is?
Is that a toilet?
Ding. She's got it, mate. OK, what about the next one? Chuck-a-sickie.
Cold and sick.
Oh, you're 2 for 2. 2 for 2. Go for a funnel. You're going to go for a funnel, mate.
I'd either say go for a cigarette or you're drinking from a funnel for a beer.
It's not.
What
it's
is
not
it?
Australian slang. It's not. It's nothing. I don't know.
OK, you got me with that one.
She'll be apples.
Happy?
Everything will be all right.
Oh, OK.
She'll be apples. Scoot.
Like get away, go away?
I think that probably is what it is, but it's not Australian.
Okay.
Whoop whoop.
Like excited?
No. See, this has got to be, I think, somewhere in the bush. Whoop whoop means middle of nowhere. Ah, she's gone out in the whoop whoop, mate. I didn't know that one. That's our wonderful production
your
team.
accents are quite good,
What would you be
Chris.
if you were scunnered?
You were scunnered. What did they say in the production room there?
No, there's no help from outside. There's no phoning a friend here.
I don't know.
OK, well, it's not Aussie slang. Tucker?
Tucker, like a mate, is it?
No, it's food.
Ah.
It's a good tucker. I quite like this one. Shark biscuit?
Shark biscuit.
Yeah.
Like, are you a shark biscuit?
Well,
that's what happens
it would be if a
in
person
Australia.
was a shark biscuit, what are you doing?
Swimming?
Yeah, you're going to the beach. You're taking your kids to the beach. The shark biscuits. They joke, don't they? And Ganyem?
No idea.
Going home, but that's Geordie. That's not Scouse. Not Aussie. And the last one we'll do, Dingo lingo. Let's have a cutch.
Oh, that's Welsh.
That's Welsh. I got that off Gavin and Stacey.
That's a good.
We'll have a cuddle.
Chris,
There you go.
We could spend 40 minutes just doing Chris's impressions, guys.
But we're not going to do that because we're going to be on City Plus watching the game, Manchester City against Leicester City in their International Cup. Right, there we go. That was good.
Good job,
I
Chris.
enjoy the games we play here. No, well done to you. And well done to the production team.
Yay.
Yaz came up with Dingo lingo, so well done to Yaz. Right, we are getting closer and closer to kick-off. So let's have a final thoughts. Firstly, on the team lineup, the way that Gareth has blended youth and experience. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think he probably hands are tied a little bit because of how I think a lot of the girls maybe come in this week, met at the airport. I think he's going to manage those as well as he can. And it's a really good opportunity for him to see the younger players, the girls that have just signed their professional contracts, the young ones, the ones that have just come in. And for me, I think it's just a really good opportunity for him to just have a look at everyone and get minutes for everyone.
So cool to see into the changing rooms at the HBF Stadium in Perth. We've seen that the fans are building there and they're getting excited about the game. What do you expect from a performance in a first pre-season game? And how important is a performance? Because let's be honest, a lot of them are coming back from different off-season build-ups. Some of them have been playing very competitively at the Olympics. Some of them would have just been working on their own with a personal trainer, for example.
Yeah, I think you can't really look too much into pre-season. I mean, we saw the men, I think they lost 2 games, was it? And then it's hit the ground.
They're doing all right.
Yeah, so I think players within the group will always say that it's pre-season, not to think too much about it, but it's just a really good opportunity for you to build minutes, to start to playing with each other, to finding out what makes other people tick, and being able to just figure out how they're going to be playing together and different strengths and weaknesses that the team has got. So that will be the most focus on what everyone will gain from pre-season games.
Yeah, Gareth keeps talking about minutes. You just mentioned minutes there. How do they figure out as a professional sporting unit who needs what minutes? Is that the players saying, look, Gareth, I could do with just taking it a bit easy as we ease in, or is it more based around science?
It'll be probably a mixture of both. I think from the players' perspective, if they're not feeling great, I think they have to be honest and have a discussion. That comes with experience, so the younger players might play through that. And then definitely sports science. I think they've got GPS trackers. They would have had loads of testing done. They would have had horrible pre-season sessions, which I hate, which I don't miss. And it's all of that will then be combined into certain data that they'll look at and make sure that people, unless they feel otherwise, that's what they will start to get.
OK, last thing we're going to do is ask you for a score prediction, but I need you to do it in your best Australian accent.
Oh, come on. Yaz, is this your idea?
It doesn't matter whose idea it is, we want it.
OK. All right, mate. Going with... No, that's Welsh. 2-1, mate. 2-1, mate.
Okay,
Good night, mate.
good.
Yeah, there we
Which
are.
part of Birmingham
Sorry,
is that?
guys, if I've offended any Australians.
No one is offended. You can't offend Australians. It's a proven fact. OK, right, that was brilliant. If you want to watch the game, you need to be on City Plus. If you're a member at City, it's £30 a year. It's great value, and we can hand over to our commentary team if you've got City Plus. I really hope you have. Tash, you're going to be busy today. It's Tash Harding, and she's working alongside Nick Welsh. Enjoy.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, a big welcome to City Plus commentary. 11:15 kickoff here in the UK. You are very welcome to City Plus commentary today. Manchester City open their Women's Super League campaign against Arsenal on Sunday 22nd of September. So the long journey aimed at stopping champions Chelsea from winning a 6th straight Women's Super League title starts here in Western Australia at HBF Park, home of Perth Glory and Western Force.